Uncle Podger Leaves for Work, written by Jerome K Jerome. But before moving towards the text, let's have a brief introduction about the writer. Jerome K Jerome, who was born in the year 1859 and died in the year 1927, he was an English author. He is also well known for his book Three Men in a Boat. This book is humorous one. Humorous means that makes the readers laugh. This book became an instant hit and he got immense popularity. After this, he wrote several other novels, essays, plays, but none of these works got as popular as The Three Men in a Boat. Later on, he also wrote a sequel to this book named Three Men on the Bummel, which was published in the year 1900, 11 years after the publication of Three Men in a Boat. Here, in this particular title, Bummel is a word which you will not find in English dictionary because it is not an English word, it is a German word. Bummel means a journey without an end. So, the title of the book means Three Men on a Journey. This book tells the story of three friends who decided to go on cycling holiday through Germany. This relaxed and humorous story of the three friends wandering in and around the Black Forest is colored by stories, odd tales, Jerome's own comments on the German people and their way of life. Now, moving towards the text. Now, this story, Uncle Podger Leaves for Work, is extracted from the book The Three Men on the Bummel. As I've already told you, this story revolves around a character, Uncle Podger, who is quite funny. He gets late every day, and because of his careless and silly actions, he always gets late and he blames others in the house. By the way, we also sometimes get late, right? For various reasons. Sometimes the reasons are valid and sometimes we are at fault for causing the delay, means we are responsible by ourselves. Here, through Uncle Podger, the author stresses upon the very nature of a human being, that is, not to accept one's fault and to blame others. By the way, through this character, the author wants to amuse the readers. So, the only intention to write to make a character like Uncle Podger is to bring amusement, is to bring entertainment. Now, if I see the first para, I'm just reading it and then after that I'll explain you. From my Uncle Podger's house to the railway station was an 8 meters walk. What my uncle always said was, allow yourself a quarter of an hour and take it easily. But he always did, but what he always did was to start 5 minutes before the time and run. I do not know why, but this was the custom of the suburb. Many stout city gentlemen lived at Ealing. In those days, I believe some lived there still and caught early trains to town. They all started late. They all carried a black bag and a newspaper in one hand and an umbrella in the other. But for the last quarter of a mile to the station, wet or fine, they all ran. Here, the narrator means the person who's telling the story. That do you know that narrator means the person who's telling the story. So here, the narrator is one of the family members, and he tells in the first para that the distance between the railway station and Uncle Podger's house. Uncle Podger's house means his house also is of 8 minutes if you go on foot, if you go on walking. But Uncle Podger always says to keep 15 minutes in hand so that you can reach the station easily. But he does just the opposite of what he says. He does not stick to his own words. He always starts 5 minutes before the time and run. Means the distance of 8 minutes he covers in 5 minutes. But not only he, the entire area has the same habit of getting late. Some people who were physically strong, here mentioned as taught, get early trains to town because they run fast. What's common in all the people that they all start late, they all carry a black bag and a newspaper in one hand and an umbrella in the other hand, and they all start running when the one fourth of the distance is left for the station. Now, the next para. Folks with nothing else to do would gather on the common of a fine morning to watch them pass and cheer the most deserving. It was not a showy spectacle. They did not run well, they did not even run fast, but they were earnest and they did their best. The exhibition appealed less to one's sense of art than to one's natural admiration for conscientious effort. The people, now I'm explaining, the people who have nothing else to do would gather on a public land or a public place just to watch them running, just because they were looking funny. So, just to watch them running, they would gather and they would cheer the most deserving runner. But it was not a showy spectacle, means it was not a showing, it was not a good scene. They were not running well, they are running fast. But yes, one thing that they must said, that they are running with sincerity. They are trying to give their best. The show, referred in the book as exhibition, were people, even for catching the train, is less artistic but sincere. The scene of running is unlike the athletes running, but the duty and the sincerity of the people can be seen. Now, the next para. It was that my uncle did not rise early enough. It was that troubles came to him at the last moment. The first thing he would do after breakfast would be to lose his newspaper. He always knew that Uncle Podger had lost anything by the expression of astonished indignation with which on such occasions he would regard the world in general. It never occurred to my uncle Podger to say himself, "I'm a careless man. I lose everything. I never know where I have put anything. I'm quite incapable of finding it again for myself. In this respect, I must be a perfect nuisance to everybody about me. I must set to work and change myself." On the contrary, by some peculiar course of reasoning, he had convinced himself that whenever he lost a thing, it was everybody else's fault in the house but his own. Now, the narrator says in this paragraph that Uncle Podger never blames himself for getting late. Even he blames others for his delay. It's not that he does not rise early in the morning, he rises on the time. But at the last moment, many troubles come. The very thing he would lose is his newspaper, and that is after the breakfast. And the family members get to know about this lost thing, that is the newspaper, after seeing his surprised expression of anger on his face. He will never say that he is a careless man. He will never say that he is incapable of finding anything. And he will never say that he is a perfect nuisance to everybody. Here, nuisance means the one who creates troubles, the one who annoys or irritates others. But instead of blaming himself, he will find a strange reason to convince himself that it's because of others' fault he gets late and not his own. Students, today you mark till this paragraph we have completed. In the next video, I'll be completing the other part of this chapter. Now, with this video, one assignment will also be attached, that is a reference to context. Three questions will be there, that is asked from the very, I think, first or second paragraph, that you have to find out. I hope you like this video. Share among your friends so that everybody in your class will get access to this video. Till then, take care. Bye bye. See you in the next video.